0, 1. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Reinvention Room with Mel. I'm glad that you're here today because this episode here, I think is going to hit different because depending on where you are in your life right now, some of you are going to hear it and feel like I'm reading right straight out of your diary. Others, you're going to hear it and think, maybe it's about somebody else, a friend, a sister, a coworker who really needs to sit, with these words. Either way, stay with me because today we're talking about something that almost nobody admits out loud, but almost everybody does. And that's competing. Now, before you picture a race or a game or a scoreboard, that's not what I mean. I mean, I'm talking about the quiet competition, the one that doesn't happen on the track. It happens in your mind, usually late at night or first thing in the morning or right after you close an app. You probably feel that little tingling sensation, right? It's the competition where you look at somebody else's life and you suddenly start questioning your own. You see someone getting married, buying a house, landing a new job, traveling somewhere gorgeous, growing their business, changing their whole life right in front of you. And instead of feeling happy for them, like genuinely happy, a little voice sneaks in and starts asking questions you didn't invite, right? Like, why am I not there yet? Why does it seem so easy for them? Am I behind? And just like that, without even realizing, you stop looking at your own life and you've turned your head. You're watching somebody else's race and you've forgotten that you're even running on your own lane, your own path. So today, I want to talk about why it's time to stop competing and start becoming. And I want to really sit here and really absorb this conversation. I want us to really be open to this because I think I think this pattern runs deep and it deserves more than a quick fix. We have this thing called a comparison trap, right? I think that's the root of everything. Comparison is one of the easiest ways in the entire world to disconnect from yourself. And I mean that literally, disconnect. Because the moment our attention goes to what somebody else has, it leaves us. And it leaves the progress that we've been making. It leaves the version of us that exists right now. And here's the thing about comparison, it's rarely a fair fight because you're not actually comparing two full lives. You're comparing your full life because you know everything that's happened in your life, right? To a life that you've never lived and you've never been there every single day. You've just seen glimpses of it. And you don't know what they did to get to where they are. You don't know behind the scenes the struggle that they had. Somebody else's highlight reel is the only thing that you see. The best 5 seconds of their story packaged up and presented to you without any of any context whatsoever. You see a wedding, but you don't see the years of doubt that came before it. You see the new house, but you don't see the sacrifices, the debt, the stress that came with it. You see the success, but you don't see the failures that had happened first. The version of them that almost gave up. You see the confidence, but you don't see the nights they questioned everything about themselves, just like you do. Everybody is carrying a story that we don't know. And even you're carrying a story that nobody else knows, right? Not fully, not the real weight of it. So here's a question I want you to actually sit with. If you can't see someone else's full story, how can you possibly measure your life against theirs? You can't. It's mathematically, logically, spiritually impossible. Your journey was never built to be laid next to somebody else's and measured for size. It was built to be lived on your own terms, at your own pace. It's almost like the race that we were never meant to run. I want us to think for a second about how exhausting it is to live like this. Like, really, really think about it. Constantly trying to keep up, constantly trying to have that somebody, what somebody else has, reach that milestone in society um, at a certain age, or prove that you're successful enough, pretty enough, smart enough, worthy enough. It's like running a race with no finish line on a track that somebody else built, wearing shoes that were never meant for our feet. And the cruel part is, even if you win at that game, even if you catch up to whoever you were chasing, there's always somebody else ahead. There's always a new highlight reel. There's always another person doing the thing you thought would finally make you feel like enough. The, the comparison, it never actually ends because it was never designed to end. It was designed to keep you looking outward so you'd never quite settle into looking inward. So what if you just stopped? What if instead of asking, how do I compare, you start asking a completely different question? How am I becoming? I want you to really let that question land because I think it's one of the most powerful questions a person can ask themselves. It's not flashy, it's not going on, on a trend online, but it is quietly, completely changing your life because it puts the focus back where it was always supposed to be. And that's on you because this is your life ultimately. The goal was never to get ahead of somebody else. It was never to race against your neighbor, your college roommate, your cousin, the girl from high school you still follow even though you don't know why. The goal, the actual goal, was always to become the person you were meant to become. That's it. That's the whole assignment. And becoming requires focus. So now here's where it gets practical because becoming isn't just a nice idea, that you nod along and then you forget by the time that you scroll again in 10 minutes. Becoming requires something from you. It requires focus. It requires you actually pay attention to your own life instead of everyone else's. And that means asking yourself some real questions. What habits do I need to change? What beliefs are keeping me stuck in the same place year after year? What would the future version of me, the one I actually want to become, choose to do today in this exact same moment? Because here's something I really believe: every single decision you make is a vote for the person you're becoming. It sounds small when I say it like that, right? But it's not small at all. The way you talk to yourself when you mess up, the way you treat your body, your time, your energy, the way you show up when absolutely nobody is watching and there's no highlight reel to post about. Those moments are where becoming actually happens. Not in some big cinematic transformation scene, not in a single decision on a random Tuesday. You don't become someone new in a giant leap. You become through small, unglamorous, repeated choices. The ones nobody else sees. The ones that don't get likes. The ones that just quietly add up over time into a person who you're proud of. So if you're waiting for a big moment, the lightning bolt, the aha that changes everything overnight, I want to gently tell you that's probably not coming. What's coming, if you let it, is 1,000 small moments where you choose you, where you choose growth over comfort, where you choose your path over somebody else's finish line. And I know it doesn't sound glamorous. It's not. That's why a few people do it. It's easier to just give up and say, oh, you know what? Probably woe is me. Letting go of the need to prove is difficult. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about something underneath all of this. Because I think competition often isn't really about the other person at all. Sometimes competition comes from a much deeper place. The need to prove something. Maybe you want to prove you're not the person someone once underestimated you to be. Maybe you want to prove that you really can succeed, especially to people who doubted you, right? You want to prove you're worthy of love, of respect, of recognition because somewhere along the way, somebody made you feel like you weren't. I want to say this clearly and gently. You do not have to spend your entire life proving your value to people who were never even willing to see it in the first place. Some people are never going to notice your growth. Some people are never going to clap for you. And chasing their approval, even quietly, even from a distance, is still chasing something outside of yourself. Your life does not need to be a response to anyone. It doesn't need to be built as a rebuttal or a comeback or evidence in some argument you're still having in your head from someone who probably isn't even thinking about you anymore. Dreams don't have to be built out of revenge. They can be built out of something so much softer and honestly, so much stronger. Love. Love yourself. Love for the life you're creating, piece by piece. Love the person you're slowly, quietly becoming, even on the days it doesn't feel like progress. That shift from proving to loving changes everything about how a goal feels. Suddenly, you're not gritting your teeth, trying to outrun someone. You're leaning in, curious, gentle with yourself, building something because it's yours, not because you're trying to win an argument nobody else knows you're even having. So, here's what I want you to carry with you after today. The next time, and there will be a next time, because you're human and this pattern doesn't disappear overnight. The next time you catch yourself comparing your life to someone else's, I want you to pause, take a breath, right there in the moment, and ask yourself one simple question. Am I competing or am I becoming? Am I spending my energy watching somebody else's journey, scrolling, measuring, keeping score? Or am I putting that same energy into creating my own life, my own growth, my own becoming? Because here's the truth about a person you admire: the one who seems so far ahead the one who makes you feel like that flicker of why not me. You don't become them by chasing their life. You were never supposed to become them anyway. You become the fullest version of yourself by committing fully to your own path, even when it's slower, even when it looks different, even when nobody's applauding yet. Your life is not a competition. There is no prize waiting at the end for whoever becomes someone else the fastest. There is no finish line where you finally officially become worthy, because you already are worthy right now, exactly as you are, mid journey, unfinished, still figuring it out. The whole point was never to arrive. The point is discovering what you're capable of, what you can create, what you're becoming, one small choice at a time. So today, I want you to do something simple. Stop looking around, stop measuring, stop comparing. Come back to yourself. Focus on your path. Focus on your growth. Focus on your becoming. Because the greatest thing that you will ever become is the fullest version of you. Thank you for spending this time with me today in the reinvention room. And until next time, fall in love with your life, and I'll see you in the reinvention room.
0, 1. Let's get started.